All right, we are live on LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube. Nice to see you ladies today. How are you?
Very good. Thank you.
Doing
Nice to meet you,
well.
April.
Amazing. So my name is April Sobral. I'm the founder of Retail U, and I have pulled together this amazing lineup of speakers, trainers, coaches, teachers in the industry that we love so much, retail. And today I have two of them on the show, and we're coming to you just really quickly to kind of talk about what this is, what we're doing, and who you guys are. Introduce yourself so that they can meet you, and then really I want to just ask you a few questions and kind of dive into some content, some subject, but like really just keep it light and casual and just like informative for anybody that's showing up, because we're really excited about this retail Rise Up Retail Summit. I'm super excited. It's never been done before. So we'll start off with just introducing yourselves, who you are, a bit of your background in retail, and then what you're doing now. And so Solange, we'll start off with you.
Okay. Hello, everybody. I'm Solange Strom. I'm the founder of the Retail Academy of Excellence. I have a 25-year career in the world of retail, mainly as a former CEO of L'Occitane en Provence, then of Repetto, based out of New York. However, my passion lies in developing people. And when COVID hit, it was the perfect time to start working on this famous retail academy I had been talking about for 30 years. Business was dead, retailers needed help, and that's how the Retail Academy of Excellence came to be. Now, we specialize in particular in the luxury and premium industry, but anyone who wants to deliver excellence in service is more than welcome to give us a call.
Amazing. Awesome. I'm so excited that you finally launched this after all of your experience in building that world-class service in L'Occitane in Canada. So thrilled that you're in the Rise Up Retail Summit. And Megan, how about you?
Yes, thank you again for having me as well. So, my retail career started off on the floor, leading multi-million-dollar businesses for global luxury brands. About 12 years ago, pivoted to recruitment and talent acquisition. So I actually now place people in retail jobs all across North America, supporting retail, corporate, and wholesale roles, working with big global fashion houses to small startup brands and everybody in between. So I kind of coined myself as a one-stop shop for all careers in personal development. And I've been on the floor. I've worked at it. I know it. It's in my blood DNA, just like all of us. And I'm so excited to come and talk about all things jobs, interviews, to get people out there and working in this amazing industry we all love so much. So.
And can I just ask you about your crown? Like, seriously.
Yes. Well, yellow is my signature color, so right on brand, gotta be always on brand, but I do love a good headband moment, so I'm just like, here I am.
I love it. I totally love it. I'm all about like inspiring positivity, so you're making me feel very happy and positive today with your crown. I love it. And it's yellow too. So just diving into a bit more of like, personal development, professional development, self-improvement, whatever you want to call it. It's so interesting because I've been in the self-development world for so many years. And for a long time, people were like, what's that self-development stuff? Like, what do you do? Reading books and like, what are you doing to improve yourself? And I don't know, it comes across as like, now I'm selling it, right? Because me and Solange, we do the same thing. We're doing coaching and training. And sometimes it's hard to convince people about the benefits of self-development, personal growth. And I know you're doing coaching as well, Megan. Yes. But like, when did you realize, Solange, that like, personal growth, professional growth, self-improvement, whatever you want to call it, was so critical and essential now that you've actually started a business? But like, when can you think back to your career when it was just so essential to invest in that?
I think it's when a bit like Megan, I started, even though I was the CEO of L'Occitane, I started on the shop floor. And I quickly realized that a lot of the people we were hiring had no training whatsoever. And that's when, it kicked in that we needed to develop them if we wanted to keep them in the world of retail. And my focus has been for the last 30 years, employee centricity. I know a lot of people talk about customer centricity as if it was the latest buzzword we found out. But if we're in business, our job is to acquire clients. It's as simple as that. But if we want to acquire clients, we need to be focused on developing our teams, and particularly the client-facing teams. And I would say that I've made it my mantra. I don't know if that's the correct word to pronounce it in English, but I've made it my focus since that first store at L'Occitane, and I've never wavered.
And you had very good service, like amazing service. I lived in Canada then, and I remember like just going into the stores and the service was just incredible. And so that training program that you put in place really, it made a difference, right? With everybody in the stores, developing them as people.
I agree. I think, it comes, there were three things I was focused on. I'm a businesswoman, so of course we focus on the financials. And one of the biggest annoying thing in retail is turnover. And I realized if we don't develop our people, they won't be able to sell. If they can't sell, they won't be happy. If they're not happy, they'll leave the company. So it was super simple as a formula, is if we want to be a very successful, financially successful company, we absolutely need to invest in the people that are facing the clients every day.
Right. Amazing. And Meghan, what about you?
Ooh, amen, Solange. I'm going to give you a couple of numbers to call for some of my recruitment clients.
Meghan.
It's all about the people. And for sometimes that little shift in a salary, it's like give someone the offer that they deserve, because the investment in that person that knows that they're getting paid well and they're going to show up every day and be like, dang, I'm so excited to be here. That's also the secret formula. But honestly, April, I'm very fireful in my soul of like, when I want to do something, I'm going to go out there and do it no matter what the odds, no matter who's telling me I can't. I'm going to do it, make the t-shirt and trademark it. So I really kind of jumped in, and it's been an evolution on the recruitment side, but I've always been in this mindset of where I didn't work with a lot of great leaders back in my day in retail. I didn't work with a lot of great female leaders that wanted the best for me back in the day in retail. And we could write books and books, as we all have, right?
Yeah.
But on this point of like, I want to be the mentor to others that I never had growing up in my career. And that's why I do what I do. That's why I do what I do. Because I think, and I was in it. We've been through so much, right, in our careers, and this decade career of 9/11. Oh boy, now my lights really went out. 9/11, the financial downturn. Oh, that's not going to be good lighting. And we'll make it work, right? We'll make it work.
Yeah.
And I just feel like it is something where, in this day and age, to have leadership that people respect, that know that they have their best interests in mind, that people are going to show up and be seen and heard and valued. Things have shifted so much. And I think if we're stuck in these old ways of what worked back in the day, like think of the evolution even over these past 3 years. Like what worked in 2001, and if you're still doing the same practices, you're not going to find the right people. You're not going to hire the right people. People aren't going to stay. So I'm happy to see some of the shifting of the little old school mindsets. We still have some work to do, but I think it's so awesome that there are so many individuals like all of us that really want to show up and make a difference in this industry and keep it an industry that people love to work in, that they can thrive and just have really amazing careers in. So that's why I do what I do, Yeah.
I love it. And I think that what you said is key. If you are in a career or you're in retail and you haven't had good mentors and you haven't had good leaders, you'll learn what not to do through those experiences, right? But sometimes it's like what I found a lot of times when I was leading teams is they would be like really passionate about training their teams and developing them, and they'd be like Googling TED Talks, which is great, and Googling like articles to share on their conference calls because they wanted to be inspired and they wanted to bring back content to like kind of develop. But a lot of times when I would see that, it was just not retail relevant, so it was like kind of out of context. And as much as I love like listening to the latest TED Talk on like whatever's happening in the world, I think what's so powerful about Rise Up Retail is that we've all done the job, we've all walked in their shoes, and so we've been doing it for a very long time, and we understand the language, like the challenges, the obstacles, and just to make it really, really relevant to everybody. And I think that you can never stop learning as a leader. I feel like if you stop learning, you're just gonna
you're done.
You're done. Your business is going to be stagnant, right? And I learned that, like, there was a point in my career when I remember becoming a regional director, and I was like, I had kind of copied and pasted things that had worked for me in different businesses every time I went to a new one. And I had this realization that I can't always do that. I can't copy and paste everything. And it's just now I'm becoming not relevant in today's market because it's what I was doing 10 years ago. And that's when I started really investing in myself in personal development and coaching and just reading more books and learning more so that I could bring fresher perspectives, polish up my skills, become more relevant. And I think this is what's so incredible about this group of people that have come together. I can see lots of people like joining the chat. Hi, Kareem. Hi, Jarvis. Yeah. Hi, Jeffrey. And so I think when we all came together and just said, yeah, let's do it. It's like go big or go home, right? Like, let's just pull something together. So I really want everybody to kind of hear what they can gain from like attending your session. I've had lots of questions. So like, is it a one-day session? No, it's 6 weeks. And the reason why we've done that is because we know nobody can get the full day off in retail. So you're going to get development every week, which is motivating, by the way, because when you're on development plan, we all know that it takes time to learn and time to repeat and change behavior. So I kind of like the way that we formulated it. But, Solange, what can we expect to gain from attending your session? And don't give away the farm, but just like, what can people expect?
Well, I think I join Meghan in a lot of what she says. I mean, you have to pay them well, which for me is a given. I mean, stop underpaying people in retail. But one of the things that I discovered, particularly because I'm not from retail, I did med school, so I'm not at all from the retail field. But I absolutely love retail. Sometimes I can't even say why I love it so much. One of my biggest issues is how many people, amazing, passionate people who are super good at retail, we lose and they go into other professions because they don't see retail as an actually long-term profession. I had an amazing young woman who worked for me from 15 to 24, became a lawyer, an amazing human rights lawyer, because she didn't see retail as a career. So my big challenge is how can we ensure that brilliant young people stay in retail and see retail as a desirable career? That is really my big mission. And what they can learn when they come and listen to me is they will learn to fall in love with retail, stay in love with retail, and realize that in retail, when you embrace a client-facing role, you actually open your door to tons of different successful careers within the retail industry. And that is my goal, is to keep those amazing young people that we're developing in the retail industry, whether it be as leaders in the stores or as merchandisers at head office or as supply chain people. It doesn't matter. We have every every career possible in retail. So let's keep those amazing people in the retail industry.
I love that. And it really comes down to leadership, right? Like I was at a school in New Jersey talking to a whole load of students not long ago, and I was educating them on all the different careers in retail, all the different paths. Like I was a part-time salesperson, ended up being a senior vice president of 300 stores. Okay, it took me a couple decades, granted. It's not, but nothing in life is like,
overnight.
But here's the other thing. And I said to them, listen, at, to like 25, 28 years old, this is how much I was making. I had no school debt. And this is where I went. And they were like, what? And I was like demystifying this career, because people I know my age now still have school debt that they're paying off, and it's impeding on their lifestyle. Yes, they have a job maybe in a law firm or something, but they have this weight of school debt. Well, I don't have any of that because I just worked my way up the food chain in retail and ended up being a great leader and having a good salary. So I think there is such a career path for people to see. And so I'm really excited. I'll be at your session with my notepad, I'm sure, taking notes, because
thank you.
from listening to you. And hey, Patrick, nice to see you on the feed. And Meghan, what about your session? I'm super excited.
Well, can I tell you, I started my retail in limited brands, Bath and Body Works, as a seasonal employee. Solange, I love L'Occitane, but I feel like a little Cape Cod Mall, we didn't support that level yet, right? It was Bath and Body. So I was the girl in the snowman apron, wrapping your gift bag with like the wrap, and those tools are probably like illegal to use, like the fire hot tools and stuff now. But all the way up to my last floor retail position was running a multi-million-dollar business for Louis Vuitton. Right. So from Bath and Body Works to selling $30,000 ostrich backpacks, here I am. And the whole process of that, do you think I probably had interview to get those jobs? You better believe it.
Yeah.
And what do I do every single day is I help people nail interviews. And I've placed arguably hundreds, maybe thousands in my time, in my full span of my career, in jobs. And just like we can't look at leadership in the way we treat people over decades, the entire process of interviewing and showing up and selling yourself and nailing it and hitting the mark has changed. And quite frankly, it's gotten a lot harder. So I am in it every single day, talking to hiring managers in terms of what they're looking for, questions to prepare for, how to show up your most confident, authentic self. Because I think we have to remember, we all get stuck on our resume. Our resume has to no, your resume is a piece of paper, and yes, it needs to be truthful, but it is not always the most capable that gets hired. It's the most confident.
Yeah.
And
that's a good one. I like that. I'm writing that one down.
So
not the most capable, the most confident.
No, because on paper, we all have probably seen them. The most amazing candidates that look like on paper, like, oh my God, this person's going to be it. And they come in and they're flat, they're dull. They can't talk about themselves. They're not the right culture fit. So, you know, we're really going to navigate the interview process step by step on how to prepare and show up and shine in your best light. But I also think it's making sure you're aligning to jobs that you truly feel aligned with, that are going to fill your purpose and your why. And I do feel like it's important this day and age to work for brands that we also respect and get behind, because I've fought with enough candidates over my time. They're like, I don't need to work with a brand I like. I'm like, yes, you do. I'm like, yeah, you do. It's not about just showing up and going through the motions anymore. I'm sorry, life's too short to go through the motions. So I am so excited to talk about, obviously, the thing, and you can maybe tell I'm very passionate about interviewing and really how to nail a retail interview in this environment. And again, especially after COVID, so much has changed and it's just gotten a lot harder. But the foundations, I think once you get it and you truly know how to talk about yourself in a confident way, it's magic. I mean, you'll be able to nail any interview going forward. And I've been through a lot of tough interviews. So
yeah, and you're actually making me think, even if somebody's like interviewing for a job internally, because I remember a time in my career where I applied for an internal role. And it was in learning and development. And I didn't have that background, even though I had trained, developed thousands of leaders in my career. And I think because I didn't have the background education, I wasn't confident in that interview. Now, I was very capable because I demonstrated it. But maybe if I had gone through your session back then, I would have had more confidence. Because literally, when the HR director said to me, well, April, you know, you're not yet formally trained in learning and development and education. So, you know, you're better off just staying in operations. And it was one of those moments where I was like, I'll show you. I'll just go build my own training and development company, which I did. But I do think that I went into that interview not confident, but completely capable. So I love that. That's like a takeaway for today.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's all about taking that narrative back, right? Because someone is going to make up a narrative about you, seeing your resume, but like you need to share that conversation and the vision of what your career looks like. And also, I will say companies are absolutely, in this day and age, a bit more open to, I guess, quote unquote, taking a risk on somebody that could be like you, April, back in the day. That's teachable, that's learnable, that's moldable, that's not coming in as a show off and ego driven. Like, I know it all. Nobody wants to hire those people, right? So if you can show your willingness to learn and to be open and a good team player, there's hard skills and there's so many soft skills. And it's that intersection, right, that I think really nails it. But you're right. If you don't show up and say, this is why you should hire me, you're not getting hired. Sorry. Like that's just it.
It's when Meghan explains it.
Right.
Makes it very clear, and
I'm all business, just very direct with people. That's how I find it's the best way. No sugar.
I think people need that. So
Yeah.
I'm really excited and looking forward to all of these sessions. It's going to be 6 weeks, 2 speakers a week, Tuesday afternoon. It's going to be live, but you'll get access to all the recordings. There's a community page where you can network with other leaders in the industry. I'm just really excited. It's never been done before. I said yesterday to somebody, they were like, what is this? And I'm like, well, it's like the Tony Robbins event of retail.
Yeah.
And then they were like, oh, that sounds amazing. I'm like, no, literally. Like, I think Jeffrey did a breakdown the other day. He was like $15 a person to sit and listen to. And we're the people that are now doing the coaching, the training, and, you know, the work in the industry. And so I just think everybody coming together is just going to be like, wow, what a lineup. So can't wait. Yeah. Whose session are you excited about watching? Because I'm obviously, we're all presenting, but I'm a learner and I just love listening to other people speak and learn from them. So is there anybody that you're excited about listening to in the lineup? Are you on the spot?
Well, one of the ones I would like to listen to is Lisa, because what she does, I don't do at all. So it intrigues me. It intrigues me a lot. And I know she's very good at product development and everything that goes with it. And as you notice, I don't even know the words. So I don't even know how to explain it.
Yeah.
It's definitely something that I've never really done. So Lisa is someone that I'd like to take the time to listen to her session.
Yeah, and I think what she said the other day, this is so great because maybe you're in operations right now, but you want to go into recruiting, or you want to go into training, or you want to go into product development, or you want to go into loss prevention or leadership strategy. There's so many different speakers on different topics, which I'm really excited. I'm really excited to listen to Kimberly Lee Minor too. She's just at TEDx. So I'm like, we've got a TEDx speaker on the line. That's kind of cool. So I'm really excited about what she's going to share as well. What about you, Meghan?
Oh, can I just say everybody? Because I can't pick a favorite. I think collectively, like the picture, because I feel like I'm just in people, in salaries and negotiations all day. I love talking about the business development and the product and all of that, but I feel like I haven't been in stores like physically for so long. So I think I just feel like I'm gonna learn so much too, to then be able to come back and take it. So I think we all bring something so unique. Yeah. And I am just honored, but definitely Solange. I mean, the client experience, like that customer, what is bringing people in? Retail is not dead. I mean, I live in Boston. These malls are packed, but it is that experiential, like what is bringing people into stores and like how are we servicing them? Like that's what keeps that customer going, and that's what keeps all of our businesses going. So I'm like, keep shopping away, everybody. But no, I'm just excited for everybody and so honored, and I can't wait to get this going. Right?
Yeah. So what are you looking forward to towards like going into a busy season? You know, I've got 2 people that work in the retail industry on the line. I know like the season, we've just come through back to school. We're going into the 4th quarter. What are you looking forward to? What are you seeing? What do you think the challenge is going to be? Or like just 4th quarter, like what do you think everybody should be focused on? I know everybody should be signing up for this event because that's how they're going to win the year. But like what other strategies do you think they're going to have to use to win the year? Solange, what about you?
I know that in my domain, and particularly in luxury, one of the biggest challenge they're having is actually finding people to work in the stores.
Yeah.
So that is their biggest challenge. And then with the people we work with, one of their second biggest challenge, if they can find people, is actually retaining them. Because, you know, particularly in the luxury industry, as Meghan knows, of course, they tend to work in a little ghetto cocoon. And one of the things we've been trying to encourage them to do is, if you're having a hard time finding people, go look outside of the luxury industry. Because honestly, if you bring me a young person who presents well, who's able to communicate, we can train them to come to the level of excellence that they need. So stop looking within your own industry, think outside of the box. And I think that in that particular space, that will be their biggest challenge.
Yeah. And I think that there's like, you know, we used to have this program where it was like called the Diamond Store Initiative. And it would be like, you know, when a diamond starts off, it's like a rough stone, right? But then you would polish it. And it would become a stone. And I think that's what everybody forgets right? Like that investment on like polishing and making, not judgments and not making assumptions about people outside the luxury industry that can't be in it.
Absolutely.
I met the most amazing
I like the diamond metaphor. It's exactly that. I strongly believe that if you have a good trainer, someone who cares about the people she or he is training, we can train anybody to get to excellence, as long as that person, of course, wants to learn. And I think a lot of young people, I've rarely seen some who don't want to learn. They're eager to go to classes and be developed and get themselves upskilled.
Yeah, brilliant. And you have to teach those leaders of those people to be good coaches and trainers.
Absolutely.
That's
and that is a condition sine qua non. You have to basically have leaders who want to coach and mentor and develop, which is supposed to be the definition of a leader, by the way.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Meghan, what about you? Fourth quarter.
Oh, God. Yeah, I think it's the same. I think it's going to be talent. But, I also feel like it is hiring and creating a work environment that people want to show up to every day. So, again, I've been in businesses where, you're short staffed, you're helping multiple people at the same time. It's super stressful. You can get burnt out really quickly. And we know sometimes the hours are grueling. So I would say, any leaders, any store managers, making it like fun Saturday potluck or like a yoga wellness morning or something to also like know that the team is working hard, but taking care of themselves. I mean, especially in the environment where it's very easy for us to, get sick or do whatnot when our bodies are like run down and everything. So I think it's about keeping the teams motivated, excited to come in. But I definitely feel like hiring, if it's anything like shopping last year, and I feel like people are out spending money, you don't want to come in and have an experience where the store is short staff, everyone's stressed out, like, whew.
Yeah,
talk about the everyday Sunday scaries. You're like, I don't want to go there today.
Onboarding is like probably one of the number one things that like I see a lot of times where leaders go wrong or just not setting clear expectations.
Throwing them out on the floor.
Clear expectations. And so when I see things going wrong, I'm like, did you set clear expectations? And they're like, oh no, I didn't, because I didn't have time. So that's like, there's so many things. But anyway, we're coming up on time. Thank you, ladies, for jumping on, because I know that we're all busy.
Thank you for inviting us.
Yes. Wonderful talking to you. I'll be back on Friday with Dean, another speaker at the event. And the link is going to be underneath this video. Tag somebody, share somebody. Just get excited. It starts next week. It's going to be 6 weeks, but you'll get recordings available and there's pre-recorded panels, lots of good stuff going on. So we hope to see you at the Rise Up Retail Summit. Bye for now.
Absolutely.